Odisha. My mother lives in Bhubaneswar, and I'm here every 2 months. And I think growing up as Odia, somewhat distant from Bhubaneswar, was a very interesting experience because we'd come back very often. My grandparents lived in Kunjapatna Sai in Old Town, and a lot of my memories of childhood are from Odisha. Now, when I come back, there's some I'm able to link my lives in Bombay and Delhi, which is where I've lived most of my life, and my travels abroad to how life is lived here, and also have memories of what changes have occurred in the last 20 or 25 years. And of course, I have many friends in Odia literature who have given me a lot in terms of what I know both of the literature of the state and of literature in general. Odisha is a very big part of my new book, Clouds. Bhubaneswar is a big character in the story, as are 3 or 4 people in it who, to me, represent different sides of the Odia imagination, whether it is religious, political, and so I've tried to devise a story that makes sense to Odias, and especially young Odia people today, about what are the different possibilities of living available in our time between the world of Jagannath and another kind of world outside him, which sometimes there's no place for him as well. I think that is the kind of tension I've tried to set up in my story. Well, I think among 20th century Indian novelists, there's no novelist across the different languages whose prose so closely approximates the condition of music as Gopinath Mahanti. You can read page by page of him, and his lyricism is absolutely beautiful. So, also, he has very unusual social profile in having been a civil servant who lived extensively among the tribals and brought to Odia literature some of the greatest stories. Paraja, not only extremely moving stories, but there's something about him technically, the compactness of his chapters, the intensity of his language, that make for a very profound experience of the novel. To me, he's an inspiration, not just personally, but I think anybody interested in novels in India, you cannot, you have not lived a full novelistic life if you have not read Paraja or Amrita or Santana, or these, I think, are 2 of the greatest books in Indian literature. I don't know that, as I can tell, I wish every Odia person of middle class and above knows the names of the great Odia writers. I'm not sure how many people read them on a daily, monthly, or yearly basis, and how many people live their lives through them. That would be another level of reading. But the few people who know and love Odia language and literature, to me, they represent some of the greatest literary minds and experiences of ras or aestheticism that I've had in my life. And sometimes you can put them all together in a dinner party, cook up a pot of mangsa, and have some wonderful, wonderful experiences. Talking freely across the centuries, across books, across words. It's very nice. I'm writing a book set in one of the greatest universities I ever went to, a Chinese restaurant in Bombay, where I used to live above it, and meeting the customers every day, the staff, the proprietor, shopping for it, tasting for it, wandering through the kitchen, sitting at the tables. It was one of the most wonderful times of my life, and the experience of food is something that brings human beings together. And I especially find it odd that in Bhubaneswar today, still young men, I don't know about you guys, but as somebody said to me last week, there is a cook in everybody, whether man or woman. And when you learn how to cook, you also know you learn to enjoy cooking for people, which is something I do in Delhi every week. And to me, this is a dream that I have. In 20 or 30 years, every person in India knows knows how to cook. And when you meet, before very long, you say, ki amo ghar guasa. Amo ekaseng khaiba. I think there are 2 things very necessary for writing fiction. One is living life on terms that are different to those given to you by your family. I.e., to write a story, you don't need an experience of society that is not just that which is given to you by your caste, your religion, your social background. To have a point of view different from that. And 2, of course, is to love to read and not want to write and not want other people to read you before you have read other people. I find that sometimes, of course, everybody is hot with aspirations nowadays. So people, once they start writing, wonder, why can't I get published? I have to say, as a young person, I'm today 37. Youth lasts a very long time. if it is lived well. So even if you start at 21 or 22 and you publish for the first time at 32, you have still many years left to publish. So to know what quality is first, to really love books, if you start writing from that emotion, having lived life and knowing what is the story you want to tell. For those who are starting out, I think having a library of your own and learning to love that library is the basis of a life in literature.